We've got audio. We're ready to begin. Perfect. Very well. Shabbat Shalom, honorable judges, my most esteemed friends, LVE tribe, as well as everyone else accompanying us. On this rather precious, superheated day of Shabbat, today being spring, the first day of spring, but it would seem that it's the first day of summer because it's full-fledged summer heat here in California, the US of A. Today being the second day of 8 or the second, the 13th month of the year 5994. Last month, and we begin the year 5995, March 21st of the year 2026, in which we shall study yet another chapter of Wisdom and Discipline, part 59. We are living the last month of the year, and once we enter, when there's already less than a month into the year 5995, there will be exactly 6 years left in order for us to enter into the new millennium. In case you don't understand it, maybe you think that there's 5 left. No, it's 6 left. All of 5995, 96, 97, 98, 99, and 6000. The year 6000 is part of the 6th millennium. And barely in 6001 do we start off in the 7th millennium. So then we are exactly 6 years away from beginning the last millennium. Very well. Let us begin by greeting those who have had a birthday during this week, which are as follows. Denis Moreno Samayoa, Costa Rica. Sara Valentina Pedrosa Medina, Colombia. Renigia Cárdenas, the US of A. Leonardo Ariel Ramirez, Argentina. Yoleida Esther Usuga Tejeda, Venezuela. Josefa Sangrone, Venezuela. Josefa Beltrán Peña, Mexico. Jefferson Guillermo Lombardi Ramos, Peru. Jose Dair dos Santos, Brazil. Heidi Lopez Perez, Guatemala. To each and every one of you, a great big hug on behalf of all of the Eternal Truth. Many congratulations and many blessings. Very well. Before beginning today's subject, let us speak a little bit about Boca, what happened during this week. In Boca, you must have all seen the game that we tied with Union. We should have beaten them. We could have also lost. Boca didn't play so bad, but there are times when they didn't play so well. We didn't have luck in other times. We also had luck in other times. They could have won in the last time in certain moments. Wow. I mean, it was give or take okay, but we needed the 3 points. We didn't achieve them. Now this week, well, tomorrow we play against Instituto de Córdoba in the Bombonera at 4 p.m., 16 my time. Each and every one of you at just your times. 4 p.m. against Instituto tomorrow, which is a very good team, but we have to win imperiously. Now, this week, the Conmebol Libertadores and the Sudamericana Cup were at stake, and after 2 years of absence, we are now in the Libertadores. You already know this has nothing to do with the biblical prophecies. It's things that I say in order to make this life a little bit more bearable. We need the 7th one. Once Boca wins the 7th one, it is a clear sign that we go into the last part. But I mean, those are the prophecies. Don't pay too much attention to them, but it makes things fun. I don't want you to say, where does it say in the Bible? Why do we have to see? I don't want that stupid shit. It's just internally in the Eternal Truth. We were close to winning the cup last time in 2023, and we lost against Fluminense. You remember that? And if we win the 7th one, then everything will develop. Nothing developed. That other club won. The Flu won. Fluminense won. Now, after 2 years, we have 6 Libertadores Cups. We enter into the 7th one, and then once we win that one, then the end comes. Don't pay too much attention to that, but it becomes more fun. So then in our group that they allotted us to Boca, we have 3 teams. Pretty good teams, every one of them. Cruzeiro de Brazil. We are in the D group. D group. D as in dice. D as in deity. In the group of the deity, Group D, we've got four groups. Boca, Cruzeiro de Brazil, the Catholic University of Chile it's one of the great ones, one of the best teams of Chile, and the Barcelona of Ecuador, which is one of the best teams of Ecuador. So then we've got Boca, Cruzeiro, the Catholic University, and Barcelona. Out of those four, two will pass on to the next one. We're all going to play against each other in both games, as a visitor and as a local team. So then we've got to play 6 games. We all play 6 games, one in our field and in the other's field. Now, on Tuesday, April 7th, what begins for us, historically speaking, because this year we may win it, then everything comes true. We have to have faith if we win it. April 7th, we go to Chile. We play against the Catholic University at 5:30 my time, 17:30 my time. This will take place Tuesday, April 7th. In 2 weeks, we play already against the Catholic University. And then on the 14th of April, we play at home against Barcelona. Tuesday, April 28th, we play in Brazil against Cruzeiro. Tuesday, May 5th, we play against Barcelona in Ecuador. It's all Tuesdays. Tuesday, May 19th, against Cruzeiro, but at home in the Bombonera. And the last game of the group will be in our field also, and we play against the Catholic University. It'll be Thursday, May 28th. Don't pay attention to the dates because I will be telling you as we go. The first one to remember is April 7th. April 7th is when the Copa Libertadores begin, where we can win the 7th one. And if we win the 7th one, then everything hits the fan because we'll complete the 7th one. So then that is what I wanted to tell you about Boca. Actually, we haven't played well. We have to have a lot of faith. We don't play well, but it's Boca, and Boca's Boca. No matter the players, no matter anything, Boca's Boca. So then Boca plays. We don't fear anyone. We don't fear anyone. And it's such an emotion to play the Libertadores again. 2 years without playing the Libertadores. It's been from getting to the final one and losing it. You remember that Saturday. It was that Saturday. Remember that day and losing it. 2 years without Libertadores Cup. But now we're back. That's why there's such emotion that we're back. And we had good teams, 2 good teams. So we'll see what happens. I say that we have to be first of that group. First, not second, first in that group. The one that comes out first obviously passes, but with better conditions. And sometimes it's defined when we enter into the playoffs. It is decided at home. There's lots of an advantage to be the first of the groups with more points. If you're second, you also qualify. Third, all the thirds go into the South America one. They say goodbye to the Libertadores, they go to the South American Cup, and the 4th one goes home. So then we have to be first. I think it'll be Boca Juniors first, Cruzeiro second, Barcelona the third. Libertadores is out of here and Católica goes home. That is the way I think that it'll be. We'll see what happens. Very well. I'd like to remind you that we've got 2 more channels. At any moment, they could censor us because we say many things against the refried beans, that we say lots of things, and sometimes they're not all that great. But you have all the other channels, but not a lot of you are subscribed in Odyssey. That's in the description of this video. Don't ask which is Odyssey's channel. It's in every video of ours. If you look in the description, you click on read more, you'll have the address of that channel. Odyssey, it's got 304 subscribers. Rumble. The other channel in a different platform, it's got 174. I don't know why we've got 174. You should all be subscribed to those channels. So then, if you're not subscribed, do so. Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Ekhad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh is one. One sole person, fundamental truth. If you want to understand anything in the scripture, it's not two, it's not three. He doesn't have a son, he doesn't have a helper. It's only one being, creator. So then, all the relation that we have had in the Bible with God has been with that being. When he spoke to Moses, and when he came and he said, I am the Son of God. When he came and he said, I am the Son of God, known as Jesus, there are two options only. Either he was false, a charlatan, it was all a lie, and he was a regular human being, or the other possibility, the only one there is that he was God. Possibility non-possible is that he was the Son of God, because God does not have a divine son. So then either he came or no one came. Personally, I believe and I see that he came. So then he didn't present himself as him, he presented himself as the Son, because he was always a charlatan his whole life. You'll see. In order to understand anything in the scriptures, we have to understand this principle. One sole being. It's not two. He doesn't have a helper, not a son, not a wife, a divine one, that is, because he does have a wife, a visible one, but he doesn't have a wife that's divine. So then, one sole being, and with that the scripture starts to be opened. Since the people don't understand this, and they say, how? But the Bible's so clear. No, it's not so clear. Proverbs 25:2. It is the glory of Elohim, the only one there is to conceal the word. How's the word? Concealed. Yet the glory of the king, who's the king? It is the new God of the earth. It is the Messiah. It is the one that will take control and government of this earth. It is to understand, to search out, to take the cover off of the word. So then the word, this text clearly says, whom is it written for? It is written for it to be understood by the king only. That's right. And that it's how it'll always be. The rest will say, Jeremiah 16:19-21, Yahweh, my fortress, my refuge, my strength in the day of tribulation. Unto thee shall come the peoples from the ends of the earth, and shall say, only lies was the inheritance of our fathers. What are they going to say? Only lies was the inheritance of our fathers, nothing more than lies. Vanity to which there is no avail. If it is man that makes himself gods, whether it's a trinity or whatever, then they're not gods. That is why, behold, I shall make it be known unto you. This time I shall show you the strength of mine arm, and you shall know that my name is Yahweh. And doesn't mean necessarily that it's of that creator. Yahweh is applied to that creator and also to the new God of the earth. It's not a name, it only means I am that I am. Very well. Wisdom and Discipline 59. The text of the invitation is Proverbs 6:23. I'll read it in the New Living Translation. For his command is a lamp, and his instruction is a light. His discipline is the path that leads to life. Today we shall study this text and the whole rest of Proverbs chapter 6. You can ask me questions in my Facebook of anything, and of course, I risk for you to ask anything, and I'll keep them anonymous. And I received this week some questions. Some are kind of strange, but I'll answer them either way, because anyone can ask. People of the eternal truth can ask, because there are lots of people that is not of the eternal truth precisely, but they listen to the eternal truth. They listen. They like what they hear. Maybe they don't comprehend it entirely, or maybe they combine it with their own beliefs, but they listen to what we talk about. So then the questions are for anyone. And he sent me this series of questions, which are 10, 10 short ones, some weird ones. Well, for me to understand them, kind of weird, but not others so much. But I'll read them all and I'll answer them quickly. Question number 1. What does it mean when the Messiah says, I am the way, the truth, and the life? No one comes into the Father is not through me. That all will be taught by the Messiah to get to the Father. Who is the Father? Well, the question is very simple. Or apparently simple. Or the answer is apparently simple. When the Messiah says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes into the Father if it's not through me, well, the path is the way that everyone has to go through, the only one there is. The truth is that the rest is a lie. If you want to know the truth about something, of the whole world, I'm talking about the whole world, not us only. They're all going to have to transit the way, the truth of the Messiah, and the life in order to obtain eternal life and life without limits. It is through the Messiah, not God the Creator. God the Creator is not the way, not the truth. He's precisely the contrary. It's a twisted path that leads unto death, because it's the religion he imposed, and the truth he's not, because he's only lies. He's the father of lies, and he's also not life because he gives us death. He has given us death, and he has killed all of humanity. All of humanity has died because of God the Creator, because he invented death and he imposed for everyone to die. We don't die because of us. We die because he invented death and he programmed us to die. Whether you serve him or not, worship him or not, you're going to die. The only one that changes that is the Messiah. The Messiah presents the way, the true one, the truth, and the life. And no one comes unto the Father if it's not through me. What does it mean to come unto the Father? In the end of it all, do we want to get to the Father? Yes. To get to the Father means to get to the Father Creator. But not to worship him, but rather to get to the truth of God the Creator. To get to the Father is to get to the truth in this aspect. It's not that the Messiah is only a way of getting to the true God. No, the true God, the Creator, he is lies itself that he placed in this world. The Messiah, which is also placed by God, the Messiah is the way that leads to the truth. And the Father, in this case, is to know the Father, because no one knows the Father. The Father, they think they know him. They think that he's God, Yahweh, Hashem, Allah, and whatever name they want to give him. That's the Father. And for us also, Father Creator, Yahweh. But to get to the Father is to get to know the Father, not to get to worship the Father, but to get to know the Father. But you can only get to know the truths of this creation and who created us, why he created us, and who's going to rule with us, over us is through the Messiah. So then who's the Father here? It is the Father Creator. And all shall be taught by the Messiah. To get to the Father? No, to get to the truth. Once you get to the truth, they get to understand the Father, our Creator. But it won't be the God of the earth who dominates the earth per se, to rule it. He won't be the governor God. He's the God Creator, but he will not rule over the earth. But they all get to the truth through the Messiah, which becomes the new God of the earth. It's as simple as that. 2. The scriptures will disappear in the new kingdom? Yes and no. They were not going to disappear as if they never existed. We want for everything that has existed here to be conserved and preserved, so that it can be studied, so they can see where man would make all the mistakes and how we fall into the deceits invented by God and man. So then the scriptures will exist, but not to study them, to get to the truth and the knowledge. No. Scriptures will be there because the people will see what they believed before, like a book, a storybook per se, how it was written, and also how is it that we read it in a different way. It won't be the book of the truth. No, of course not. A historical book, which was the only guide we've ever had, which has been the book of which guided the Messiah and also the beast. The people will see all that, and they have to, and they'll have the scriptures there to be able to say, wow, we used to read this, and we understood that, and it wasn't that exactly. That is where everyone will see the cover of the Bible. So it's not going to disappear, but it's also not going to be the rule to follow, of course. 3. What does it mean when the Messiah says, there's no greater love than this, that he that giveth his life for his friends? The implications for this word for a follower or an Elevite. What does it mean when the Messiah says, there's no greater love than this, the one that gives his life for his friends? Okay, to give the physical life and to die doesn't imply any love in my book of what love is, because you disappear and you cause more harm. And I'm not talking about an occasion where you risk in a physical situation to sustain someone's life. No, I'm not talking about that. It makes no sense. That is not how you demonstrate the greater love. Lots of firemen and officers and even evil people, they do things where they save other people's lives and they die. That doesn't mean that, oh, how much love that person has. And they've been people that didn't even do it for love, but for a reflection of doing something magnificent. And they are heroes. And I can say that's the greater love because he sacrificed his... No. That's not the sense of what the Messiah is saying. To give one's life for your friends is to give your life in the sense of dedicating yourself to doing something. When you give your life, is that you focus all your life in something. It's like when we say, or the songs say, I give my life for Boca. It's not that we give our physical life, but we give our interest, our attention, our time, our efforts, our work. That is what we give. Love, that is what it is to give the life for someone, something. So then the Messiah, when he says, there's no greater love than this, than he that giveth his life for his friends, it means that the Messiah dedicates himself and gives his whole existence so that his friends obtain life. That's what it is. It's as simple as that. And not physical life that the Messiah gives so that the others can obtain it. No. That's already the ancient religion. I will die to give life for the others. No, it isn't so. It is I will dedicate my life for you. And that is what the Messiah does. Because the Messiah, in conjunction what he will be, it is to dedicate himself 100% to teach the entire world, living and dead, to resurrect and giving life precisely. He's precisely giving life, his entire life, to the service of the rest. That is what the Messiah does, that the others will never do. Very well. That is the greatest love that exists, because all of the religions, they say, you believe in this, you don't believe in this, then you're doomed. The Messiah says, no, you're not doomed, I'll save you. No matter what you believe, whether you believe in me or not, I'll save you. Because I'll dedicate my life to do this and to make you understand there's no greater love than that. And the one that wants to save every human being. Because every human being needs to be saved. 4. Yahweh crucified himself. Is this true? Yeah, in the sense that it's not that he crucified himself, he nailed himself. You could take it literal and say, yeah, Yahweh nailed himself. But Yahweh crucified himself by planning his crucifixion, by getting into the mind of those who accused him to be accused, and in the mind of Judas to be handed over, and in the mind of the people for them to say, may the blood of this man fall upon us. And also getting into the mind of Pilate to say, yes, do whatever you want, crucify him, I'll wash my hands. Yes, of course. His plan was to be crucified. And he planned it completely. Yahweh did. So then in that sense, that he crucified himself, absolutely. In fact, he prepared it so that they wouldn't understand it. Prepared his message so that they would get angry. He prepared his message to incite hate towards him to be crucified. He achieved it 100% because he achieves whatever he wants to. So then did Yahweh crucify himself? Absolutely. 5. What I'm writing now even was already written by Yahweh. What is the opinion of the Messiah about the free will? Are not written all the free decisions already? Well, you already know what my opinion is about free will. It is very limited. Free will is, does it exist in a certain environment? It exists when the creator needs for a certain group of people or certain people do something and they don't want to do it, it'll be, and he'll use all of his influence and power for them to do so. So then we are absolutely subjugated to a world where there's no real free will. Certain people think, ever since you were born, from the parents that you did not choose, then there's no free will. You were born from a race that you did not choose, there's no free will. You speak a language that you did not choose, there's no free will. If you look a certain way that you did not choose, and you wanted to be prettier, uglier, taller, shorter, thinner, you didn't choose any of that. So what is your free will? If later you were subjugated to an education that you did not choose, you were subjugated to a culture that you did not choose, your parents taught you what you did not choose. When you're older, the world took you to certain decisions, and it would seem to be our own decisions in a certain manner. They are, but they could be pre-chosen by the Creator. Sometimes we want to do something and we don't do it, and we do what we don't want to. Why do those things happen? Well, in my understanding, this is complicated. There's a limit of activities that we do with free will, let's say it that way. But all of the decisions of our life, they're dictated from beforehand or by an influence that we don't see. Now that we're here believing this a reduced group, it was not your free will. You were guided to this. I was guided to this. It was not something that you wanted to see. No. It was presented to you, and there was something inside of yours that called your attention. That's the way it is. So then, free will, it is very much reduced, and it's in parentheses. 6. Many times you talk about the minions of Yahweh. Yeah, Yahweh's minions. But even if you don't identify yourself as one of them, even if you don't believe in God, if you're still a minion of Yahweh, because He knows it all. Exactly. You're right. I'm also a minion of Yahweh, like every one of you. I say minion of Yahweh because the minions are the wickedness that He does. So then this is Isaiah, Moses, the disciples are all minions. We too. It's just that we like to see that He's not utilizing us in the way that He utilized them, but that we're all utilized and that we're all minions. There's no doubt about it. We're all minions here. We're all minions here. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Free will is very much reduced. We're all minions. Question. Therefore, for Elohim, there is nothing that He doesn't see like accidents. And if there are in certain things that are loose, He corrects them immediately. That's the way I see it. Can there be an accident? Well, with humans, I believe so. There has to be accidents. That's why He works. That's why He works. Because we're very unpredictable. So then when things don't go the way He wants, He forces them. That is the unpredictable. When Jonah said, I won't go, no, you will go by force. So then there are unpredictables. He corrects them. Don't you worry about that. He predicts. Nothing gets out of His control. I don't understand this question. I don't know what he means about crystals. Does LVE believe that crystals are healing, or does it only come from the heart because life comes from there, the Messiah? Well, I don't know what the crystals are. Well, like magnetism or quartz or something, whatever the crystals are that he means, like amulets and all the rest. Maybe some that said that they have properties that if you wear them, whatever it might be, that it's about nature, whether crystals, magnetics, or things, substances, they can accompany or accelerate the healing of something. That is the process that it takes to, once again, the normality of the individual. We see that in New Germanic medicine, not because of the crystals will you be healed, because you lost your healing due to something that took place in your life. If there was a problem that was a shock to you, it transformed into something. There could be different variables. So then in your healing, when you got to the term of the conflict, there could be that certain things may accelerate the process, but there's no magic whatsoever for that to heal you. No. Can it accelerate the process though? Yes. It could also be mental. It could be mental. Maybe it helps you. Maybe to say this has a special power, you deposit your faith in it, and that itself retributes for having deposited your faith, even if it doesn't do anything, but that gives you trust and confidence, and by believing it, your subconscious mind feels more at ease, and it accelerates the situation. But healing comes from what we call to get to the end of the conflict. Once you get to the end of the conflict, we start with the part which is the healing, quote unquote, healing of the conflict. And we have to go through a stage of rebuilding or renormalization or reduction or many things. There are many things that can ease it a bit. Very well. So then, it's not that I believe in the crystals, they heal you, no. Things can help you to accelerate certain processes. 8. Now, about the eternal now. For LVE, has everything happened already? Or does he believe in the existence of a linear time? Nothing has happened. For me, it's a linear timeline. If you tell me, no, let's believe that it's all happened already and we're living in something. No, I don't believe that. Absolutely. In stupid things, I can't believe it, I can't understand it, I could not accept it. For me, the time of now is a real time. That about we are living, we're in the future, but we're living in a stage of the past. But we've been redeemed already, like Paul said. We're redeemed already. We're already sitting in heaven now. That does not go. It does not go well with me because my mind needs logic in things. That does not. I cannot grasp that. We live in an existence that's linear to me. No past, no future, present. We live in the present, and we advance in the past that is left in the past. In the future, we haven't lived it, and it still does not exist. Could it exist in the programming of God? It can, but future does not exist. Tomorrow has not arrived, not for God or anyone. He says, can an Elevite come out of time? No, of course not. It could seem to you, your mind can vary. Many things can happen, but to step out of time, you won't be able to. 9. An Elevite is Jewish? No, absolutely not Jewish. It is at all whatsoever. The Jewish religion is one that is based in rules and norms, 613 mitzvot. And it's got a strict worship towards God, the Creator, that they call him Hashem. We are not Jewish. An Levite is Christian, we're also not Christian. Absolutely not. None whatsoever. The Christians worship a Christ, which they believe it's God, and that it's the Son of God, and they believe that he will come back in return for them. So then we're not Jewish because we don't follow any rule or any form of religion that's Jewish. And we're not Christian since we don't worship any Christ that will come to look for us. So then, we're neither Jewish nor Christian, not in the very least. We are something else. We are the eternal truth. And it's 11 because he says, what is the opinion of LV about the Eucharist? The Eucharist, that's when they go and eat the wafer. They eat the wafer the Catholics do, which represents in a form of representation of the Christians that have the Holy Supper, which represents Pesach. In other words, that little piece of wafer, they go through some system in the Catholic Church, which is the transubstantiation. in which they say that that little piece of wafer becomes in the real flesh with blood, living blood of their Lord Jesus Christ. So then they come, they eat the wafer, just a little piece of Jesus. It goes living into their body, and that is the sacred Eucharist, which is the Holy Supper, which is Pesach, give or take. It comes from the same thing. What is LV's opinion about that? Well, the Catholic Church, like Yahweh invented it, is a deceit. It is such a deceit like the Jewish religion. No, it makes people feel well because they believe it. It's because there are people that are destined to be Catholic. There are people that are destined to be Christian. There are people that are destined to be Jewish. And there are people destined, I would have to say predestined, to be Arab. And others to be of religions of the Indians, Hindu, and all types of religion. They've been predestined already. It is the effects of taking a Eucharist. What effect could it have? None, zero effect. Unless you believe in the effect that it could get to have in your mind, reacts to what you believe. So then, maybe you can see miracles or you can feel a heavenly orgasm. It's what your mind wants to believe. But it's called the effect of placebo. It's a placebo effect. If I believe it, then my mind makes it work. If I believe that I'm eating the flesh of Jesus and makes me feel good, it'll make me feel well. And it says that Jesus forgives me and makes me feel good. Maybe it helps me a lot. But it's a placebo effect nonetheless of what I believe, of what I'm eating, or drinking, or doing. But it's still a lie nonetheless. But sometimes the lies heal. If I have something, and I present myself to a white robe priest in a healing home, and the white robe priest says, you have 6 months to live, and I believe that he's a god, then I'm going to follow with that in the placebo effect. Now, if the white robe priest says, and let's say he wants to lie to me, it's like I'm just going to lie to him. You have nothing. You'd have to be crazy. And if I believe him, then that lie is what helped me, because my body says, oh, it was nothing, because maybe it was something else, but my body finishes that conflict and says, okay, we're good, and that's it, it's over. So then lies, even if they're lies, they can be they can help you completely. So then, even if it's a lie, the whole process of the Eucharist does not take away that it has positive effects, like confession. What is one of the terms in Germanic medicine? What is a fundamental part? It is not communicating it with anybody. To keep it for yourself. To not speak it with anyone. Now, when you go with the priest, you confess yourself that you've done some bad things. You let go of it. Once you let go of it, even if it's no good, not even the forgiveness of sins, like they make you believe or anything, it frees you. It's a psychological effect. It frees you. So then, is it beneficial? Absolutely. Is it true? No. It's false. The priest has no power to forgive anything. Not even God has power to forgive anything, because God cannot forgive anyone. Let's see if that's clear. God is the one to blame for everything. We are not going to get together, or nor do we teach that we should ask to be forgiven by God for anything. No, the one that has to ask us to forgive him every day of his life, and then later by giving his face and his best will to do so, and to ask to be forgiven, is he towards us. It is he towards us. The one that created us is Him, and the one that placed all the wickedness that we have is Him. The one that programmed us with the programs that we have is Him. And on top of all that, He didn't leave us alone. The one that makes us things wrong is Him. The one that places kings above us, and that is a lie, and covered us with a lie, and this whole earth is Him. The one that gives us a lying book is Him. And to top it off, He expects for us to go and ask Him to forgive us? Of course not. God has to ask us to forgive Him. So then, it is very different, our teaching is, than to being Christian or Jewish. He has to ask for us to forgive Him. Well, those are the questions. And about free will and all those things. I got this out of the Talmud, and I liked it, this story. There was a king. This is just so you understand a little bit, not so you understand, but so you can, in a way, visualize why God acts the way He acts, or at least to understand it a little bit. I'm not saying that you understand it, but it's a bit ununderstandable. Let's suppose there's a king that got to a place where there was lots of need, lots of poverty, and people needed work. And he said, okay, let us organize everything here, an entire plantation. And so then I'm going to pay. He says, I'm going to pay. And we're going to start to cultivate all types of vegetables and all the rest. Now, when time passed, a week passed, or time passed, he got them together, and they were already working beautifully. It's an incredible production, and the king says, well, I'm going to start to pay them. And so then he called a group, and he said, what were you working on? And they said, for example, just an example, whatever. I was working in the turnips. The turnips, okay, for your work, 10 pesos. Okay, that's fine. Another one, I was working on the apples. Okay, 10 pesos. I was working on this, and he pays 10 pesos, 10 pesos. And I was working on the tomatoes. Okay, 100 pesos. It was kind of Italian, kind of like me. And guy came, so I was working on the onion, 100 pesos. I was working in basil, 100 pesos. I was working on the cabbage. Okay, $10, 10, and so on and so forth. So then they all got together and said, hey, hold on, wait, why that difference? Why the one that worked in tomatoes and the one that worked in the things that you like? Why did you pay them a lot more? And us, you paid us the same, all the rest, and some even less. There were some more that worked in, I don't know, even less. So then, because that's the story, kind of long, but it's just so I understand, everyone had different prices. So then the king says, why didn't you let us know before? The workers say, why? So then the king says, look, if I had told you how much I would pay for everything, you would all have wanted to work in tomatoes. Nobody would have worked in the turnips, in the cabbages, in the flowers. The flowers, it was the worst that paid, and I needed you to work for everything. So then, if you understand this parable, that's the way it is. God is not going to ask you what you want to live in this life. What role do you want to play in this life? No, He chooses it beforehand. But everyone has its price. But everyone cannot choose what they want to be. Because the Jews, when they found out and how the payment will be, they would have said, no, I would not have wanted to be a Jew, ever. Because I thought that, no. You thought wrong. So, but somebody had to play the role of the Jews. Somebody had to play the role of the Arabs. Somebody had to play the role of Africa. And this is, you paid us so badly. Oh, well, that's it. That was your lot. You were allotted to that. There was a situation, and you had to produce everything. So then, in the vineyard of the Lord, everything is produced. The payments are different. He doesn't tell you. He doesn't tell you. He lies to you. The owner of everything lies to you. But the rewards are going to be very much different, and the maximum payment is the Messiah. But of course, if he were to say, who wants the position of the Messiah, they would all have said that. They wanted that position, the whole world, all the Jews. It's not the choosing of the human, but it's of the owner. Just so you understand. I like that story a lot about the king that paid however he wanted after he gave them all different jobs. I like the answer of it. How would you have worked in flowers? Nobody would have wanted to work in the flowers. No one. No one. Very well. So we start off in Proverbs. Let's go directly to Proverbs chapter. It's been 49 minutes. Proverbs directly 6. But hold on, I need to check something. Let me check how Lanús is going. 0-0. 0-0. With Venice, a huge game. Venice Lanús, 0-0. Such a game. Okay. Every now and then I'm going to be checking. It's mine? Pardon? Oh, they won 5-0? Oh, poor Newell's Old Boys. Newell's Old Boys, one of the two most important teams of Rosario and also of the country. They're in a very bad situation. I think they're about to descend. Newell's Old Boys about to descend. And oh well, Lanús grabbed them and scored 5 on them. Poor Newell's Old Boys. Didn't score anymore because they said they stopped attacking. They yielded their attitude just a little bit here and there. Out of respect, they didn't attack anymore. Else they could have scored 5 more. Wow. And today, Lanús, I want Lanús to win. And for Vélez to lose. For Lanús to win and to Vélez to lose. We'll see how they do. 0-0. Very well. You saw it out of that game, right? Right. Let's go directly to Proverbs chapter 6, which says, My son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou art snared with the words of thy mouth, thou art taken with the words of thy mouth. Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself. When thou art come into the hand of thy friend, go, humble thyself, and make sure thy friend. Give not sleep. Pardon me. Yes, give not sleep to thine eyes, nor slumber to thine eyelids. Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. Well, in this block that we've been seeing already, about how at a level that is written of this level that everyone can understand, is that we must not go out as a co-signer or give our word to anyone, to no one, because we become imprisoned of a guarantee for other people. So then, if you become a co-signer of something, it is better that you try to undo that contract. We've talked about this already. It doesn't make, it's not too deep unless you want to apply it, but already in a more difficult way to understand, because it's talking about being somebody's co-signer. Actually, we have given our word to God. We got baptized in the name of God and gave our word to God of serving Him entirely forever. And that, we broke it. But those who are trapped in that servitude are all the religious people trapped in the Bible and the religions. They're trapped and they are afraid of breaking away from it because they would go directly to hell. They would fall into the hands of what they say, absolutely Almighty God. Oh, what it is to fall into the hands of the God. What does it say in the fiery God? I can't remember exactly how it says. How terrible it is to fall into the hands of the powerful God. Fearful. If you don't want to fall into the hands of that fearful God, you have to do away with every contract with God. We have no contract with word of promises of anything with God. The contract is with ourselves, amongst ourselves and for us, and no one else, not for God. We blame God for everything. Absolutely, He's guilty for everything. He has to ask us to forgive Him. You may apply it in one way or another. Do not rest until you erase your name from the churches, or else you gave your signature for those groups. In the moment in which we understood different things to the Adventist Church, and I was born in the Adventist Church, by the way, Leslie and I went to speak with the pastor. You already know this. We want you to remove our name. That made me remember when I read this text saying, I no longer want to be a co-signer with this group of people. I don't want my name there. I'm not a guarantee of anything, nor do I want to be a part of you. Take my name out of there. At first they told us, no, you can't do that. It's impossible to them. We continued to insist until they gave us a letter saying you are no longer a member of the Adventist Church. That gave me so much pleasure. Okay, I applied to this also. Your name. You gave your name in a compromise with the church. Eliminate it. It's not that you have to do it for sure. If it's by your mouth and attitude towards the church, it also has to be completely saying, I no longer belong to this group at all, whatsoever. That's the way it is. That's why I tell you, we are not Jewish or Christian whatsoever. We are not. We are not. Okay. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provided her meat in the summer and gathereth her food in the harvest. Well, we laughed with this a bit because the ants more than produce and they steal. But trying to find a good part out of this, we can observe in certain things nature to learn how things can work, how they keep the food and it lasts, things like that. But just being a sluggard, no, the ants, they're neither a sluggard or a worker. So they're programs. I can't even say that they're workers. They're programmed to work. They can't not work. That is their essence. That is what they were born for. It's not that they do it out of their own decision. They have no morals. They have nothing. They didn't have to go to church. Nothing. They didn't have the inherited lies that we had. 9. O sluggard, how long wilt thou sleep? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall the poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. Well, this is clear. It is a message for those who are sluggard, those who are lazy, that don't want to work. Obviously, if you don't want to work, you have no other option than to suffer poverty. Obviously, if you have a rich father and you have an inheritance, if somebody feeds you, you won't suffer as much, but you're still poor because you as a person are poor. Because our richness or poverty resides in the ability and the things that we produce. So then, what is it that we must do? Produce, learn, be productive for someone, positive for someone. It is rare. It is rare. I don't want to get into this subject because maybe it's not comprehensible, but the more of a worker you are, poverty is eliminated. At least poverty, the more of the poverty is. Sometimes says, oh, poor, they work so much and it's poor. Well, maybe it doesn't work as much or as well. Sometimes we don't work as well, but as it turns out, the essence is left of not working, being lazy. It is equal to poverty. And even if you have money, it's poverty of something, poverty of spirit. We go on to a different subject now. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. Exactly. A naughty person, a wicked man, which is that? The one that lies and changes the truth. Hasn't Yahweh done that all? Of course, yeah, Yahweh, the prophets, and all who guide us, and all of us. The New Living Translations, Proverbs 6:12. What are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars. For that very reason, lies in order to deceive, lies to cause evil, is one of the worst evils that we have as human beings. They lie to us, they all lie to us. Who's winning the war? You cannot know. It's all a lie, absolute lies. It's all a lie. So then, if the religion is a lie, the news are lies, the medicine is a lie, history is a lie, The Bible is a lie because it is covered with lies. It's all a lie, and it's all despicable. We have to navigate through an ocean of lies and survive. And when the appropriate time arrives, we shall be the river of truth. The river of truth. But now this world is an ocean of lies. Signaling their deceit with the wink of an eye, nudge of the foot, their perverted hearts plot evil. They're always thinking about lies. They constantly stir up trouble. What is stirring up trouble? Discord, fights, separations. So then, wickedness can clearly be seen of people that lie. But they will be destroyed suddenly. Well, someday it'll suddenly. Broken in an instant beyond all hope of healing. There we have our president, Donald Trump, who's a first-class liar, a despicable being in every aspect. How you can measure a human being that no? We want to save him either way. Donald Trump will be saved, but the role that he plays, that God gave him, that role of a minion that he plays for God, is absolutely despicable. As Netanyahu, his companion, despicable beings. They're not broken all of a sudden. Look at how old they are. So then these are broken all of a sudden? No, precisely as they say, the weeds never die. 16. 6 things doth Yahweh hate. Even 7 his soul detests. This is very interesting, very interesting. I told you that here there was something special. It says 6 things God hates. In all the books that I read, that I have, about all these things to read, out of the original in Hebrew, the very same Jews say, how strange, to tell the truth, that God, who is a being that is extremely intelligent, the most intelligent of them all, the most prepared, that knows everything and dominates all of the feelings. How odd that he says that he hates. He should not hate. We should not hate. But for him to say that he hates is strange. Maybe it's not described in the way that we need to read it. They give stupid explanations. The thing is, here is that they say that God hates these 6 things. I'll tell you why God hates them. He hates them because they're his main characteristics. It is the law of the mirror. It is like that one that says, I hate gays, I hate the gays, and then they find out he was gay. And he was hidden, or he had it suppressed, but he hated them so much because he saw himself reflected in the others, what he was. The law of the mirror says, oh, when I hate or I look at something in this aspect that is a lot greater, there's a lot more positive things. But the negative part is that when I criticize, I have such anger, I look at him and I hate him, it's because I'm seeing characteristics of mine in him, in that person. That's the way it is. It's a law. Sometimes it's not fulfilled. You could say, I don't like this, and that's it. You don't have those characteristics. But essentially, that law exists. And we hate things that we have. And when we see it in other people, defects, then we take our anger and wrath against what we don't like about us. In this case, it is a clear example of Yahweh, because Yahweh is the father of lies. So then if he says, if he sees his children lie, of course they're going to be angry because he sees himself reflected. So then it says, 6 things that doth Yahweh hate, which actually, that he abhors, it says. And even 7, he says, there's even a 7 that he abominates with all his soul. Precisely the one he abominates with all his soul is the one that he practices. Let's see. 17. Haughty eyes. Haughty eyes. It's another way of saying proud people. There's another word, which is, how do you say that, this pride? I never know. Arrogance, yes, arrogance. Is God arrogant. Yes, completely, absolutely. Read the Bible, you'll see whether God is arrogant or not. I'm the only one. I'm the one that created this. There's no one outside of me. And you have to love me. And you shall love me wholeheartedly with all your soul and all your strength. And if see they worship another, I'll destroy you because I'm so jealous that it gets to the third and fourth generation. Wow. Is God arrogant? Absolutely arrogant. All the things that humans have, but multiplied. Proud. Now it says haughty eyes. That would be the first of the six. Haughty eyes. Pride. Is God arrogant and proud? Yes. A lying tongue. Does Yahweh have a lying tongue? He's the father of lies. He has the lying tongue. Then we have little tiny lying tongues, but he has the lying tongue. He's the father of lies. He begat lies, but he hates the lying tongue. Third, hands that kill the innocent. How many innocent people did Yahweh kill? All of them. They're all innocent. We're all innocent. No one has died in this world, even if they're evil and perverse, because they put that wickedness upon themselves. No, Yahweh did. Yahweh gave us these laws that we have. Man violates, kills, usurps, steals. God placed all those characteristics in us. All that we see in human beings. Human beings constantly, to be good, you have to be repressing, grabbing our nature and repressing it, holding it back, repressing it the whole time. We're not born good by nature, we're evil by nature. Who created us evil by nature? Yahweh did. So then, who are the hands that killed the innocent? He killed millions, starting that he made us die. And he said, surely, you shall surely die. That's it, it's over. He made us all die, all of us. And then, in the great flood, he killed millions innocent people, most of them. But not just the flood, everything afterwards. All of the people that have ever died is innocent blood. And who spilled that blood? Yahweh did. Because he gave us a biological clock for us to die. To die little by little, in a horrible way. Starting with old age. One thing is to be in all of your splendor, and all of a sudden you die. No. You die little by little, and you see it. The wrinkles, you lose your strength, your flesh falls, your face falls, you get gray hair, your hair falls, your strength falls, your virility, the effort of doing things, your drive, and you see your face in the mirror, you see it in the because you're dying. You're not growing old. Growing old is a nice way of seeing it. Old age is death. So then you're dying, every day dying. Who is to blame for that? Completely Yahweh. Because he gave us that biological clock for us to die little by little. But to reach all of us. All of us. So then, who is the one that spilled innocent blood? Yahweh looks at one that assassinates and says, I hate him. Why? Because I'm worse. I'm just the same. I see myself reflected in all the assassins. Yahweh sees himself reflected in all the proud, all of the arrogant, all of the liars, the deceivers. Imagine if he places the kings in the most deceiving of them all. Who chose them? He did. And the assassins, he sees himself reflected because he's the greatest assassin of them all. Moving on. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4. And a heart that plots evil. That would be the fourth one out of the 6 things that he hates. A heart that plots evil. Evidently, he has the greatest evil heart that has ever existed, because he has plotted all the things that we go through. He plotted everyone's death, evil, everything. So then, does his heart plot evil, a vengeance of killing, doing away with people, fire. The text that says there's no evil that comes upon a city that Yahweh hasn't provoked. Who imagined that? He did. So then what does he have? A heart that is always plotting evil, correct. He has it when he sees it in a person, which are horrible characteristics. He says, how horrible. He's equal to me, Yahweh says. The feet that race to do wrong. Exactly. If he did not have feet that race to do wrong, we would be a lot better. But all who dominate is the lies, the deceit, all those things. It is because he races to do evil. When he sees that in the humans, he says, how evil they are. They're just like me. 19. That would be the fifth one, 19. The sixth one, the false witness who pours out lies. God hates them. These are the worst characteristics of human beings. Actually, it is, because let us go back. Haughty eyes in human beings, whatever is pride, all those things. What is the word that we said? I forgot. Arrogance. To tell the truth, it is disgusting to see it in people. We would want to see people that are actually, that have not that pride for them to look at us. You know what haughty eyes are, right? Horrible characteristic in people. A lying tongue, horrible. No one wants to be a friend, nor can the Messiah have a lying tongue. The hands that spill innocent blood, not just blood, simply, but innocent blood. It's horrible. Assassins, horrible, like Trump, Netanyahu, and all the rest. And the heart that plots evil, exactly. Thoughts, wars, wickedness, it's characteristics that cannot be a part of the Messiah. The feet that race to do wrong, exactly. Characteristics that cannot belong to the Messiah. The false witness that speaketh lies, it must be one of the worst characteristics that exist. How I hate those who raise false witness. One thing is to lie, to obtain something, and another is to lie about the rest. That is filthy, complete filth. The false witness that speaketh lies, that would be the sixth one. And the seventh one that says that Yahweh abominates. What is the seventh one? The one that sows discord in a family. He says his soul abominates that. The one between friends, brethren, it could be in culture, in the religion of a country or of a family, the lineage. That sows discord amongst his friends. That one actually he detests. The New Living Translation says, Proverbs 6:19, New Living Translation says the false witness that breeds lies would be the sixth one, and the one that sows discord in a family. That is why amongst friends or in a family. Does Yahweh do this? Absolutely. It is what he does the most. And I'll read it to you. It's not that I'm just saying this just by saying, which it would be okay to say just because I think so, but it's written. It's not that I say it. Just by saying it, it is written, everything that I've said. These six characteristics and more of this seventh one, it's the characteristics of Yahweh. And they're all based, give or take, in lies. Let us go to 1 Kings, in case you forgot. 1 Kings, the first book of Kings. 1 Kings 22:19. I'll read in this at Jerusalem 2001. 1 Kings 22:19 through 23. Jerusalem 2001, and pay attention to these words. And even if you're new, even more. Micaiah said, listen to what the Lord Yahweh says. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left hand. And Yahweh asked. Who asked? Yahweh. And Yahweh asked, who shall deceive Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? Because they had a problem. They had to go make the king Ahab, they had to make him go fight to be able to kill him. So then Yahweh says, notice the question of Yahweh. There were many other different ways. This is what I'm reading. It's one of the things, a code in the Bible, so that you open your eyes. These are the things which are concealed, but semi-concealed. They're pretty clear, so that you start to take away lots of the cover of the Bible. The question of Yahweh is not of a good being. It's not of a righteous being. Not of a being that does not have intention of deceiving, not even of an evil person. So then Yahweh says, who will deceive? He didn't say, how shall we do this? What are we going to do so that Ahab goes to war? No. Who will directly deceive Ahab so that he goes and falls in Ramoth of Gilead? So somebody said, I don't know, let's do this, let's do that. Until a spirit, a special spirit, and stood before Yahweh and said, the Christians apparently don't read this. A spirit and stood before Yahweh and said, I will deceive him. Imagine before the all-powerful God that hates lies for an angel to come and to say, I'll deceive him. Yahweh should have said, can you get this guy out of here? What do you mean I'll deceive him? We're against lies. What is this idiot saying? What do you mean I'll deceive him? This is the first thing the guy should have said, I'll deceive him. But that is what Yahweh was looking for. He says, I will deceive him, Yahweh, the Creator, all-powerful. Yahweh asked him, wherewith? He was interested. He said, how will you do so? Let's see what your plan is. And he answered, I will go forth, and it will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. What prophets? Prophets of Israel. He wasn't going to deceive Babylon. He was going to deceive the king of Israel. He was surrounded by what prophets? The prophets of God. So then this angel says, I, Lord, I want to deceive them. He says, how are you going to do so? And he says, I will deceive him because I'm going to become in a lying spirit. Right. Because maybe it didn't work. Exactly. I will go and I will become a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. How many prophets? All his prophets. Yahweh said, what should Yahweh have said? The God of love, whose truth and nothing more than the truth? How are you saying that plan? No. We're going to try to fix the situation. The situation of Israel. Let's tell them the truth. No, let's deceive Israel themselves. Talking about Israel. Talking about Israel, not a different group. Israel, his people, the apple of his eye, his chosen, whom? Those are the ones that will deceive. Yahweh said, thou shalt deceive him and prevail. Wow. That phrase, the Christians don't even read it. Yahweh, the most all-powerful, the God that is... No, you shall deceive him and prevail. Go forth and do so. He gives a command. Yahweh signs off on it and says, go and do so. Whom does he give this command? I'll tell you, every author of this Bible. All the prophets of Yahweh are deceivers. All of them. Not one that is not a deceiver. All of them. All of them. That's why this text, it is a lot wider than what we see. How was Israel deceived? Through his prophets. That was the plan of Yahweh? Absolutely. How are the Christians deceived? Through their pastors. How are the Muslims deceived? Through their imams or whatever they call them, the guys that direct them, of their religious leaders. Yahweh deceives through those who lead. But it's all Yahweh's plan because he's the number one deceiver. Now, I'm not supposing this. I'm reading it to you. An angel says, Yahweh says, how will we deceive the king of Israel? An angel says, I will. I have a plan. I will go and I will become. He says, Yao, how will you do so? He says, I will turn all of his prophets of Israel into a lying spirit. So then those who will prophesy, it's going to be a lie. We're going to deceive them to kill them. It wasn't to deceive to save them. It was deceive them to kill them. And having said that to the deed, it wasn't a long time because it became and it was done. They deceived him and killed him. Yahweh said, you shall deceive him and prevail. Kind of like the logo that they have in the Mossad, which is in the center of the Israeli intelligence center. Through deceive you shall do war. Through deceit you shall do war. How do we do war? Through deceit. Now they took it out because it was too discovered of everything that denounced that. Through deceit you shall do war. Now they took it out. But it was and still the motive of that agent, as it's always been Israel's. Yahweh said, you shall deceive and prevail. Go forth and do so. Now therefore Yahweh, listen how the text says, now therefore Yahweh hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, those of Israel, and Yahweh hath spoken evil concerning thee, and also against thee, and everyone else. Because in all of the prophets he has placed lies, a lying spirit. That's why the Bible is concealed. And everybody reads it and they think it's true and they are killed by it. You shall deceive him and prevail. So then, the 6 things that Yahweh hates, the lying tongue, he has a lying tongue. The hands that spill innocent blood, the false spirit. Is it applied here in this that we just read? Of course. He's the greatest false witness that exists. Another text. To close this with a golden seal, it says that the thing that Yahweh hates the most is he that spreads discord amongst brethren. Matthew 10:34. Yahweh speaking says, think not that I, in the Spanish DHH, Matthew 10:36, no, Matthew 10:34 through 36, Spanish DHH 2002, which says, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I am come not to send peace, but a war, for I am come to set a man in discord. What is it? What he came to do? What he hates the most. I have come to set a man in variance against his father, brethren, and his daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foe shall be of his own household. What is it that Yahweh hates the most? He says, he that spreads discord amongst brethren. What did Yahweh do? To sow discord. So then it is the law of the mirror. What he teaches us here, it is the main characteristics of Yahweh. Yahweh is a being that is extremely proud, with a tongue that's absolutely lying, an assassin from the very beginning. Everything that his heart deviseth is wicked. His feet are swift in running to mischief. He's an absolutely false witness, he and all of his witnesses, what they say, because they speak only lies to deceive. And he is the one that soweth discord amongst brethren. How did he do so amongst with different religions? Just like he did so between the Jews with the Arabs. Just like he sowed it with the Jews, Arabs, and Christians, and all of the rest of the religions that there are, so that they fight amongst themselves. Between the Christians, subdivided, so they fight each other, so that they accuse each other. You're going to hell. If you don't do this, that was caused by Yahweh, because all of the religions are divided by this. So then who caused those divisions? Yahweh. Yahweh is the greatest causer of division. He is the one that sows discord among brethren. The day that's why the Messiah is the only one, the only way, path, and truth that exists, and also the only one that will give life. The Messiah does hate that, exactly. Good point of Leslie's. The real Messiah actually hates haughty eyes, the lying tongue, the hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. Actually, the Messiah hates that, but it's not a law of mirror of the Messiah, because he wants to change the system, because this is what Yahweh imposed upon us. That's all we see. Death, lies, and evil. Don't we see that in this world? Deceive, death, and evil. And all the plans that we see is of death, deceit, and evil. The Messiah wants to change that. 20. In the meantime, let us check how many likes we've got. 173 likes. We never get to 200 likes anymore in a while. We'll see how Lanús is doing. 0-0 Lanús still. Nothing's happening here. Come on, Lanús, we get a score. Okay, they're on the second time. Let's go, Lanús. Let's go. 20. Keep, my son, thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother. It is very simple. This is not the commandment of the Torah. Everything that's the Torah, with all of the commandments and all the rest, is part of the lies of Yahweh, to deceive us. We have to know well. We have to, that is worth anything good there. We're not talking about the law of God. What it's talking about, that father is the one that's teaching you, precisely. So then the father that is instructing you. What are the commandments? The ones that LVE teaches you. That would be your mother and father, LVE. Your father and your mother. It's not the Bible. It's not Solomon. It's not God. It's not Jesus of 2,000 years ago. None of that. Nor any biblical prophet. It is what we are studying. We are. Bind them constantly upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck. When thou goest, it shall lead thee, and thou sleepest, it shall keep thee, and when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. It's got many different connotations, but all of the teachings, that water that you take to your cistern, and you keep that water, which is yours, actually, they become a part of you. That's if you bind them to your heart, like it says, if you bind it to your neck, if you keep them, because the word is keep them, my son, the command of your father, and forsake not the teaching of thy mother. I'll translate it. Keep, my son, what you learn from LVE. Always tie it to your heart, and tie them to your neck. They shall guide you when you walk in whatever route that you are in this world. When you sleep, they shall keep thee, and speak with you when you awaken. What do you mean they will speak with thee? Exactly, when things happen in your life, you will always choose the better option. Your subconscious mind will speak to you when you take this information to your mind, then it makes you act. It makes you act in the best way. If you don't have these commandments that we've been learning here, you don't act well. And on the other hand, when you incorporate the knowing of the wisdom, it is part of your life, you start to act well in situations where before you would not have acted well. And here comes the text of the invitation. Finally, we got there. And I'll read it first in the Spanish RV 1960, which reads, "For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life." To keep, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. In the New Living Translation, which is how it appears in the invitation, reads, For their command is a lamp, and their instruction a light. Their corrective discipline is the way that leads to life. In order for you to understand this, because sometimes we read light, we read lamp, and we don't quite understand how it's applied. I mean, we do understand it to a certain level. Instruction is a light, it's a lamp. How pretty. No, but the sense is that I want you to imagine what it means. Imagine that you are in a place that's entirely in darkness. Darkness, darkness. The greatest darkness that I've ever been in my life with Leslie is in a cave that they told us when we were visiting, a cave way like a kilometer inside, very long, here in the north of California. So then the guide, there are many people, the guide says, okay, turn off all of your lights. We didn't have cell phones when we went. He says, turn off all of your lamps. He says, we will turn off the lights so that you can experience for the very first time what absolute darkness is. What you have experienced, there's always light in the cities, in heaven, there's always light, there's always a reflection. You can experience absolute darkness. He says, don't move. It'll seem weird to your eyes. So then he counted down and turned off the lights. In the midst of the cave, it was actually like a new experience because you couldn't see anything. There was no light. I mean, nothing similar to a light. And you could look at your hand like you couldn't see anything. It was complete darkness to 100%. A weird expression, very strange. And the guy said for us to not walk because we could fall immediately or crash or something. We're in the middle of the cave. It was a big place in the cave. A wide, it was a cavern. A cave, yeah. Like a mine of something. Very well into the mountain below. And the darkness was so beautiful. It was so beautiful that it was scary. Oh, and the silence to top it off. Well, just imagine that you're in that situation. You are in zero darkness, because that's how we all are in this world. So then there, you'll understand the words of the wise men, how important this teaching is. Because that is how you are, in complete darkness. When you're in complete darkness, you are afraid because you don't know where to step. If you're going to take a step, you don't know where to step. If you're going to step in a hole, or if there's something that is next to a cliff and fall off, you don't know. You don't see anything, and you can barely move your foot to see where you're stepping because you can't see. Because you can't see, it could be a trap. There are animals. You're also scared of being attacked because if you're in darkness, you don't know who will attack you because you don't see them. You don't see anything. They can steal, rob from you. An animal can bite you or sting you. You don't know. You can't defend yourself because you don't see them. You also don't know where you are. When you're in complete darkness, you don't know where you are nor where you have to go. Not just where you find yourself, but where you have to go. You don't know anything. The worst of it all is that you cannot know where the path is. You cannot know. So then that is the situation in which this text is applied. You're in a place in complete darkness, and you're afraid of taking a step, of somebody attacking you, and afraid that you cannot go anywhere. And you don't know where you have to go. You don't even know the way, or if you're in the right way. You don't know anything. That is the situation of this whole entire world, of how you were. And now the message comes. And the message is, for the command is a lamp. Once you start to listen, it's like in that moment they give you a lamp. It's kind of like with a lamp you start to see. Situation changes from not seeing anything. You can start to see where you step. You can start to look to the sides, but it's not enough. The teaching is light. Light is more than a lamp. A lamp it's something limited. When the light is made, is that you start to see a lot farther because you have light already, stronger than a lamp. In a lamp, you can see where you are, but it's not enough. With a light, you can start to look around in your surroundings, but it's not enough. Because even if you have a lamp and light, if you don't know the path, you're not going anywhere. But what does this text that's so marvelous say? For the command is lamp, and the instruction is a light, and a way of life. The teaching of the eternal truth. It's a lamp in your hand. It opened your eyes and showed you a light of everything around you, and not just that. It showed you the command of life, the way of life. It showed you the way of life. That is why this text is so precious. But you have to understand it in its context. A person that is in complete darkness, they receive, for their command is a lamp, and their instruction is a light. Their corrective discipline is the way to life. Not just do you need a lamp in a stronger light, you need the path. Without the path, you're not going anywhere. And everything is for what? 24. It will keep you from the immoral woman. Once again, Solomon with the immoral woman. Again, with that, let's read this in a literal way. So that they keep you from the immoral woman, from the smooth tongue of a promiscuous woman. Don't lust for her beauty in your heart. Don't let her coy glances seduce you, for a prostitute will bring you to poverty. But sleeping with another man's wife will cost you your life. Can a man scoop flame into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire? Can he walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? Well, it's a custom in Argentina at some point in the year. I never went, never saw this, but it's common. And I think in the north, in Misiones, a long time ago, all of a sudden they take coals and you have to walk on the coal. You haven't heard of that? Oh, you see. But it's stupid because they go quickly over the coal and they don't get blisters. It's so many short seconds that they walk upon it. Will a man walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? And they said, yes, we do that without blistering our feet. How crazy is this? It's so stupid. So, he that gets with his neighbor's wife will not be unpunished. None who embrace her. Excuses might be found for a thief who steals because he is starving. But if he is caught, he must pay back 7 times what he stole, even if he has to sell everything in his house. But the man that commits adultery is an utter fool, for he destroys himself. He will be wounded and disgraced. His shame will never be erased. For the woman's jealous husband will be furious, and he will show no mercy when he takes revenge. He will accept no compensation, nor be satisfied with a payoff of any size. Very well. What is it saying at a superficial level? At a superficial level, it says this. I've read it entirely because we changed to a different subject. So then all the advice and that it's a lamp, a light, and the way of life, so that they keep you from the evil woman. Who is the evil woman? Well, for Solomon, it's all an evil woman, except for some women of your youth. It's all a bad, evil woman, good man, a precious. You see how the guy writes? The precious soul of the man. What an evil woman, so that it's talking to man, evidently, not women. That they keep you from the evil woman, from the softness of the tongue of the strange woman. Do not covet her beauty in your heart. Don't let her seduce you with her eyes. For because of the prostitute woman, the man is reduced to a loaf of bread. Well, not exactly does it say that. What it actually says in the text, in different translations, is better. In the Spanish YHWH, it says Proverbs 6:26. The prostitute goes after a loaf of bread, but the adulterous woman goes after the man that is worth something. Exactly. There's two types of women. It says there's a prostitute, and her price is the price of a loaf of bread. She wants to eat. The prostitute does it for money. She wants to live. But the adulterous woman, the one that is married, because the prostitute evidently is single, but the one that's married doesn't come for a price to take a little bit of money from you. It comes after your soul. That is what the text says. That is what all the Jews explain. That to get with a prostitute, what you will lose is money. But to get with an adulterous woman that is married, what you will lose is your life. So then he that gets with the woman of his neighbor, he's no longer talking about the prostitute that just charges to eat. So then the one that gets to the neighbor's wife will not go unpunished. So then it's talking about that the problem of the deceit is that it's not like stealing. That'll be compared. Now it says, so then a thief, if he steals, they catch him. I'll read the text and I'll explain it. Men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he's hungry. It says not that they hate him. It's a big problem when a thief steals to satiate his appetite. But if he is surprised, if they catch him, he shall pay 7 times. Well, nowhere in the Bible does it say that you pay 7 times. But that's a good idea. You stole something, you have to pay 7 times. 7 times its value. But it's trying to give you an exaggeration to compare two different situations so that this is comprehended. Pay attention. It's as if a thief, whether it's because he's hungry or whatever, if he's caught, he shall pay 7 times what he stole, and everything in his home if it's necessary. But, in difference, but whoso committeth adultery lacketh understanding, he that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. What it's saying, well, I'll read the next one. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall never be wiped away. What it says is that if a thief is caught stealing, once he pays for it, once he paid his debt with society, he can go back to be a friend of him that he stole, because you can comprehend what he did. Yeah, I stole. I'll pay 7 times what I stole. They can even become a friend of the one he stole from. It is something that can be repaired. But the adulterer, it says that it's a fault. I'm reading it here, that cannot be repaired. Because let's suppose that the guy got with the wife of another guy, a married one. Let's suppose that A got with the wife of B, and they caught him, of course. How many chances are there that the husband of the person forgive him to the point of becoming friends again and living together and having a party together? According to the Bible, I do not agree, but according to the Bible, it's impossible. Remember, this is a Jewish mentality. Jewish mentality is in unforgivable adultery. Yes, I'm against that, absolutely. If it was, sex has been overvalued, overrated. But they value not sex. What they value is the property of the person, like an object that's their own. If they touch it, that is the problem. That if they valued the woman, then adultery would not be so unforgivable like they presented. But they were presented because the woman is an object that belongs to men. And if that object, another man uses it, then you cannot forgive the other man. You have to kill him. The man and the woman too. That's what it says. I want to explain what the text is saying after applying what I think. It's just, he that committed adultery with a woman lacketh understanding, he that doeth destroyeth his own soul. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall never be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man, of the husband. Therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. There's no way that a man, a jealous man, to forgive when his wife, with the to forgive the man that laid with his wife. In the Jewish mentality, mind you, okay, I'm not teaching this. In the Jewish mentality, and this causes lots of problems because this is how what these guys are like. But in the Jewish mentality, there's no chance for forgiveness. He shall not accept any ransom, neither will he forgive, even though he can multiply the gifts. There's no way for you to pay that. That is the Jewish mentality. It's not ours. It's not of the Messiah, not whatsoever. The Messiah sees sex and everything else like a robot. And if you don't see it that way, then you cannot be a part of the Messiah. Because it's been so much of these problems in the world that you could never forgive. You could not even see the cases that there are. So then never these Jews or Solomon could never be a part of the Messiah, because in the mind of Solomon, this cannot be forgiven. And in the mind of the Messiah, everything is forgiven. In fact, it's already forgiven. That's the way it is. If you don't see it that way, then you cannot be a part of what the Messiah will be. The Messiah has to forgive this, and that, and something a lot worse. Violations, assassinations, all types of things. The Messiah is the one that will give the forgiveness to everything. So then, for the Messiah, it does not understand this in the Solomonian mind to say this guy will not be forgiven. So then, I just want to highlight in this text that the stealing and adultery are two different levels. And a man can forgive that they steal things and they repay him, but a regular man, will not forgive that they touch his wife. He will not forgive that. He will not accept a price, anything. And even more in the machismo in which this was written in the Jewish mind. Okay. First of all, the wife is not a belonging of the man. That's why we have to take this as it is written. And actually, we take that teaching out, but now I go way past that to wrap up this subject. You know who the strange woman is. The strange woman are the religions. The bad, evil woman and the strange woman are the religions. And the religions, every last one of them, starting with Judaism, Christianity, Muslims, and all the rest. That is the bad and evil woman. So then, how do we apply this? What the evil woman is? Something that nobody would have ever seen, because they would only see it at a normal level of a man that's married and adultery. Well, you cannot forgive. No, that's all. No. We will always look in this book, always the evil woman and the strange woman as the churches, and there are different levels of churches. There are churches that come like a prostitute, that as long as you pay them a little bit, they accept you and they do the service. All the others, they take your soul. That's why it's good the way it is written here. The thing is that all of the religions that exist have a husband. That is the subject. That is the subject. I want you to see it in this splendor. All of the religions have a husband because they all say that they are the wife of the Creator. They're all the religions. They're the wife of the Creator. So then when we get meddle with the wife of the Creator, all we can expect is the wrath of the Creator, because the wrath of the Creator, it's in all of the Bible. You will go to hell. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. We will read it as follows, so that they keep you all these advices that I give, because the command is a lamp and the teaching is a light. In a way of light is the reprehension that instruct you here in the eternal truth, so that they keep you from all the churches and all the religions. Do not covet the beauty of their temples, what they promise you, that Jesus forgives everything for you, their undeserving grace. Don't covet that, because they do covet it, or to be a part of the chosen people, like the Messianics say, that circumcise themselves. They keep all the mitzvahs. They dress themselves with the tzitzit, with the things, with the dog shit vestments that they wear. Don't covet their beauty, because they can see the beauty to the religions. Don't covet their beauty in your heart, nor let her deceive you with your eyes. Religion seduces you, that you realize the need that we humans have to be saved and to take our guilt away that eats us inside. And they say, Jesus, they offer pardon. What do they call these religions? Stop suffering. They say, stop suffering. That is what the religions offer you. You're suffering in your life. Jesus is the solution. Stop suffering. So then you go and you desire those women. Right? Pardon? A goal from Lanús. Lanús scored. Lanús has scored. Lanús has scored. Goal, goal, goal. Okay, they have too many points. You have to bring them down. Goal of Lanús. Who scored? Who scored? Let's see who scored in Lanús. Lanús has scored by Izquierdo. I'm sure it was with his head. He's a great defender. He plays in Boca. Now he plays in Lanús. What a great defender. What a center. I mean, he's a beast. No one passes that guy. You shall not pass. You can either pass, either the guy passes or not the ball, but not both together. It must be with his head, with Izquierdos. Check that out. Wow. Okay, perfect. So then, do not covet the churches. Don't believe them that there's a salvation for you, that there's grace for you. Stop suffering. That's a lie. That's a lie. Because of the prostitute woman, a man is reduced to a loaf of bread. Yes, we're a loaf of bread for all the churches that eat us, and the woman hunts the precious soul of the man, of course, but this man is men and women. The church takes over you. We're the true church. Come and do what we do. And they take your soul, the soul, the livable man of livable part of the man who gives us life, and we give our life to God, the God of that church. So then it takes our soul. I give my soul to Jesus, not any Jesus, the Jesus of this church, evangelical, Adventist, or this and that, Mormon, or whatever. But I sell my soul to the church and hunts the precious soul of the man. That is what all the churches do. And they're all the wife of Jesus, of Christ, and God, whatever you will, in the churches. It says, shall a man take coal and not be burned? Can you play with fire that way? No, of course not. He will be set on fire. The churches will incinerate them, because there is no part of the Messiah that is a part of the churches. Those are the prostitutes, all of them, that have seduced men. And when we refer men as men and women. Shall a man go with hot coal and not be burned? Can a man transit the path of that church without being burned? No. You will be burned. You will go to hell directly. So then, it says, that is how it is with the man that gets with the neighbor's wife. That it means is the wife of Yahweh. That is how it is. It is concealed. He shall not go unpunished, anyone who will embrace her. Exactly. Because the wife of Yahweh is a trap. We are not the wife of Yahweh. Not in the very least. We used to think that we were, because they indoctrinated us in that. We're not the wife of Yahweh. We are the new Yahweh. And the wife of Yahweh are the churches. All of them. Every last one of them. They shall not go unpunished, anyone who embrace her. Exactly. Exactly. All who are part of the churches, they will not go unpunished. They will have their punishment, whatever their punishment will be. We'll have to rescue them, but they're already punished to be a part of. Because if the husband is Yahweh, he's evil, he's a liar, he's an assassin. How is going to be the one that wants to touch the wife of Yahweh? Same thing. I want you to understand that this text is very easy to understand. It says one thing is to steal when you're hungry and they make you pay, but he that commits adultery, he that meddles with the wife of Yahweh, you should not meddle with the wife of Yahweh. He that meddles with the wife of Yahweh is he lacks understanding. To get into one of those churches, you lack understanding. This is the real wife of Yahweh. He said so. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. A wound and a dishonor shall he get. Exactly what he will find is shame. It says all lies was the inheritance of our fathers. This is our God. This is our new God. This is our only God, and he shall save us. And he will point to what the Messiah is, the eternal truth. He shall find a dishonor, and his reproach shall never be wiped away. Exactly what they did. Not even they will wipe it away. It says, I was such an idiot. Not in the sense that there's going to be hate on behalf of the husband. No. Their mistake, they will remember it always. Wow, I did not know how to understand that the religions were a lie. I didn't notice that serving Yahweh, it would doom everyone to hell. I didn't notice of the injustices that God was doing. I didn't notice that God was the deceiver. I didn't notice that the prophets of God speaketh lies to deceive. How embarrassing. I did not notice. That is the shame. It'll never be wiped away. They are a part, just like those who descended to be. There's only one group that has never descended in Argentina, which is called the Boca Juniors Athletic Club. The rest have descended. I'm sorry. The matter says we won in Madrid. I could give a fuck. Just like that. You have descended, you chickens, along with the rest, to the B class. So then that shame will never be wiped away. It'll never be wiped away. Tell me what it feels, chickens. Tell me what it feels, River, to have placed in the National League. We don't know. We're in the first class. You descended. You died. So then tell me what it feels for you chickens to have played in the National. Tell me what it feels. That shame will never be wiped away. And we will never descend. Didn't matter if we give him the final. Doesn't matter. The shame of going to the B class, we do not know it. You, that shame will never forget it. B, River with a B. It went to the B. It will not be wiped away. It'll not be wiped away. In this case, the same thing. Those who are in the church, they go into the B class. That'll not be wiped away. We'll have to rescue them from that, but we'll always remind them. Remember, you were an idiot Jew. Remember that you were a stupid Christian or an Arab. No, I didn't know. Yeah, but you were an Arab. You were a Jew. You were a Christian. You were a Catholic. You were an Adventist. And that's it. That shame will not be wiped away. Because they wanted to be the wife of Yahweh and meddle with the wife of Yahweh, touch the wife of Yahweh. You should not touch the wife of Yahweh. Keep her away. He says, who wants to touch the wife of Yahweh? We don't want to touch her. For me, we have to burn her with fire. Not have sex with her. I don't want to have sex with any wife of Yahweh's. I want her to be burned with fire, to be put naked and burned with fire, like Revelation 17. That woman burned with fire. Now, those who want to have sex with her, oh, well, yeah, that shame, you will never wipe it away. Because the jealousy is the rage of a man. That man would be Yahweh. Because in the character that Yahweh takes on, that I've explained already, Yahweh, even if I say that those 6 things and 7 is Yahweh, it is the Yahweh that makes himself be known unto us. It is the face that he showed us. He must be a different type of being. But the being that is shown to us is that. It is that face. And that face is the one that we have to deal with. How do you say to deal with in Spanish? The one that we have to deal with. Is evil, he's an assassin, he's a liar, he's a father. Yeah, all that. That face. If he's different to that, we'll see it later. But that face that he showed us, in which acts in this world, in this plane, is so. So then, he has a wife, which is the religion. Let us not touch that religion. We've escaped that religion. We don't want to know anything. Now that we understand that, we don't even want to touch that religion, because we know that that religion is to be burnt with fire. For the jealousy is the rage of the man, and he shall not forgive in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. Well, this marvelous interpretation, you can only have it here in the eternal truth, because no one else exists that has the measuring rod. The strange woman are all the religions. Do not have sex with them. Do not get near them. Don't even by their house, like it says in the previous chapter, draw away from her path. Don't visit her. Don't look at her, because she's seductive. She offers you life, salvation, but her end is death. Just like any religion. We are the way, we are the truth, and we are the life. And no one will get to the truth of what God is if it's not through the eternal truth. Psalm 78, 1 through 2. All my people, hear my teachings. Open your ears to what I'm saying, for I shall speak to you through a parable, and I'll teach you hidden lessons of our past. Suck at the liberate's breast. You shall always carry her within the heart. They may corrupt you. You may forget. But she is always, always there. Semper Fi. Always faithful. Always faithful. The destiny. It is written. The end is inevitable. God. The new God. The true God. The only one that is the truth, the way in life, is Argentinian. Let's go. The eternal truth. Let the laurels be eternal that we knew how to achieve. Crowned with glory, let us live, or we swear with glory to die. Touch not, like they say in English, with a 10-foot pole. Don't touch, not even with a 10-foot pole, the prostitute wife of Yahweh. She's a seductress. But if Yahweh has already destroyed that prostitute, which is his wife, and all who get with her, touch her not even with a 10-foot pole. Don't go near. We are neither Jewish nor Christian nor of any religion. We are the eternal truth. Hallelujah to every one of you. I thank you for your donations, your tithes, your offerings. Forget not that you, and only you, maintain this ministry, the ministry of the eternal truth. Forget not to comment. Forget not to give us likes, and we shall meet again next Shabbat. Happy day of first day of spring. Happy day of autumn for the other side in the south, where autumn is starting and the cold, and here the heat has started with everything. And let's go Boca that we play tomorrow. And this year we have to win the Libertadores Cup. If we win the seventh one, this is accelerated. I'll tell it to you now. If we don't win the seventh one, we have to wait till we win the seventh one. So let's go Boca. With Ubeda, without Ubeda. If we win the seventh one, we have to win it because it's written. When we win the seventh one, it is written. It's already written, so it doesn't matter who plays. If it's Firulita, Pirulito, and Ubeda, or I. Doesn't matter. When we win it, we have to win it with whomever playing or with whomever directing. Everything will start. Hallelujah to every one of you. We shall meet again next Shabbat.